Welcome to my travel videos. This time my son-in-law planned very meticulously a trip to South Dakota, which is the 40th state of USA, which is in midwestern US. There are three interesting things which we have to see there. One is the Badlands, which is a geological wonder, and second is the Black Hills, which has the Mount Rushmore, which has got the faces of the four important presidents of USA carved on a very high hillock. And then the third is all the scenic loop that is by which we drove, and then we saw animals during the trail. Like we saw prairie dogs, we saw a lot of bisons and deers, etc. And that was a very beautiful trip organized by him. As usual, he plans everything very meticulously by doing a lot of research, and also the places for stay, everything was booked 4 or 5 months in advance, everything. This we went 4 years back, 2008, before the pandemic. I thought of sharing it with you now because it had many interesting features and you may like to watch it. Thanks for watching my show and keep supporting me. First, from Maryland we flew to a place called Rapid City, which is in the east of the Black Hills National Forest in the western South Dakota. It is called the gateway to Mount Rushmore because through this you can go to the Mount Rushmore hills, and then it is also called the City of Presidents because it has got lot of bronze statues of presidents, around 43 life size of them in the street corners. And it is called Rapid City because it was developed after the Rapid Creek as a settlement which has developed very fast. It is in the western South Dakota. Here we landed. From there we drove around an hour to the famous Badlands. Badlands is a natural beauty. The maze of birds and canyons and pinnacles and spires, and the rugged beauty of the Badlands, it draws the visitors from everywhere. These striking geological deposits contain one of the world's richest fossil beds. Ancient horses and rhinos once roamed here. Around 2,44,000 acres protect an expanse of mixed grass prairie, where bison and bighorn sheep, prairie dog, etc. Even now they are living there. The name Badlands, it's a homage to people who lived in the Badlands before it was called as a national park. For hundreds of years, the Lakota people who lived here called this area Makosika, which translates as Badlands. The Badlands actually presents many challenges to travel. When it rains, the wet clay becomes slick and sticky, and the jagged canyons and buttes that cover the lands, so they make it very hard to navigate through that land. That is why maybe it was called as the Badlands. And winters it is very cold and windy, summers are very hot and dry. And very few water resources which are muddy and unsafe to drink is there. So here permanent habitation was not there in those times. So seasonal hunting, as it was difficult to survive. In 1978 it was made as a national park. And we went there, and that amazing sight of the geological structure really was striking. And we stayed right in the middle of the Badlands. That is morning, as soon as we opened our eyes, we saw the Badlands structures. And it was interesting to know that 1,30,000 acres of Badlands was used as a practicing bombing range by the American military during the World War II. Here there are many golden eagles, owls, butterflies and rattlesnakes, reptiles, elk, etc. are there, but no bears. It's a place full of sandstones, siltstones, mudstones, claystones, limestones, and volcanic ash and shale, etc. And many sandstones found in the Badlands are the remnants of ancient river channels which flew those days. And these Badlands are cut from the deep alluvial and volcanic ash deposits that have been sculptured and formed, carved into fantastic forms by the continuous action of wind and water falling in infrequently but torrential downpours. Preserved in the soil are the fossils of rhinos, horses, camels, and rabbits, and rodents and carnivores which roamed around here so many years ago, but no dinosaur fossil. And my grandchildren were searching for some fossils, and it is free to collect if you are capable of. But it was a bit scary, that is, if you get on to some of the structure, then if you fall into the down below part, then there is nobody even to rescue you. Like that it was the Badlands, but it was a fantastic geological structure worth seeing. These bizarrely eroded rocks and canyons offer an unforgettable spectacle. And the tribes who lived here were called the Dakota tribe, and still they believe that the nation and the human beings were started only from this place. And there is a cave which is showing the picture above. You can see a small hole there, and through which whatever is dropped, it goes deep inside the cave. They showed it us also. Then after that, in the evening in the Badlands area, we visited the place called the Wall, which is very famous for its roadside attraction. It is there from 1931. It has a very rich history in the state of South Dakota. It offers dining, it offers a lot of activities, gift and souvenirs. And the main thing is it offers free ice water. So the travelers take a refreshing break here, and then they proceed further to the Black Hills. Here we took some photos in the shop which was showing lot of statues of the old people. We enjoyed here. It is a souvenir shop actually, and my grandchildren bought some books also here. You can have a look of that shop in the above pictures. Then we proceeded to Black Hill, which has the famous monument of all the 4 important presidents of US. You can see in the picture all the 4 presidents. Mount Rushmore is a national monument memorial. It's a massive sculpture carved into Mount Rushmore in Black Hills, and it was completed in 1941. It was by Gudson Borglum and his son Lincoln. Roughly around 60 feet high granite faces depict US President George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. And there is also a museum there nearby that also we visited. And there is a reason why Borglum chose all these 4 faces. In the year 1732 to 1799, Washington led the colonists in the American Revolutionary War to win independence from the Great Britain. So, Borglum chose his face to represent the birth of US. Secondly, he chose Jefferson. Why? Because he was the 3rd president of US, and he was the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, a document which inspires the democracies of the world. He also bought the Louisiana from France in 1803 and doubled the size of the country. So, for the growth of the nation, he chose his face. So, first one for the birth and second one for the growth. Third one, he chose Theodore Roosevelt for the reason because he was the 26th president and he provided leadership when the country experienced economic growth in the 20th century. So, mainly instrumental in negotiating also the Panama Canal, which linked the East and the West. And he ensured the rights of the common working man. So, Borglum chose him for the development of the nation and the people. And fourth, he chose Abraham Lincoln, who was 16th president of the USA, because he held the nation together during the great trial, that is the Civil War. So, he believed that his sacred duty was to preserve the Union. So, Borglum chose his face for preservation. So, for everything he had a reason to choose their faces to carve, and that is a very wonderful and a very remarkable sight which is not to be missed. Next, in our trip in the Black Hill, we chose to go to a cave. There are so many caves there, Jewel Cave, Wind Cave, etc. We chose the Wind Cave. It was really a wonderful sight and a very complicated cave structure. And also over 202 miles of explored cave, the 3rd longest cave system there in that area. If anyone ventures into the cave without a guide, they may get lost because it was a maze. And also, when our guide switched off the torchlight, it became pitch dark. And we heard that in the olden days, men used to tie a rope in their waist and used to jump inside with a lantern to explore the cave. How risky it is. There are conducted tours within the cave. With the help of a guide, we can explore. After that, we proceeded on the loop and then we enjoyed the scenic drive where we saw many animals. When we took a scenic drive in the Black Hill, we saw this pin-like mountains. They were very unique and they have made a pathway for the cars to go through the mountains by cutting the mountain. That was a very beautiful sight and you can see it in the picture where the cave has been cut for the cars to pass through that place where we took a photo. And then we saw all the animals like lot of free roaming bison. We heard that this is the largest free roaming bison herds in the world, this area. And we saw there are more than 200 bird species, elk, mountain goats and coyotes, prairie dogs, bobcats, etc. we saw in the wildlife loop road. We saw some birds. We read that there are more than 200 birds. And on the way we saw a beautiful lake and then we did some picnic also there. And this time we carried our rice cooker and instant poddies which I have shown in my videos. And we enjoyed our homely meals also. So we bought some chips and we enjoyed a nice picnic and we ate it on the way while driving. See the beautiful lake over there. They are all in the scenic way when we went in the Black Hill. And they are called Black Hills due to a reason. The black ponderosa pine covers the slopes entirely. And due to this forest covered region which is full of pine trees, it's called as a Black Hills. And we could see lot of bison herds. The scenic drive was very winding, but still it was worth seeing because of the beautiful scenery. This area is called the Custard State Park, which is known for its beauty. Throughout the way we could enjoy the nature at its best. See the beautiful lakes and the mountain behind it, and everywhere the free roaming bisons with lot of greenery around. And the best thing what we saw on that day was a surprise. We saw a double rainbow and you can see that in the picture also. Normally we see rainbows only one, but this time we were lucky enough to see a double rainbow. That was fantastic. So we just took a photo so that everyone can enjoy along with us. And these small rodents are the prairie dogs. They dig holes there and then they come out, they eat nuts, and it was very funny. They were looking like squirrels, but they are not. They are called prairie dogs. Lots of them are there in the mountainous region. And we could even see a lot of coyotes there. And they say that coyotes are a bit wild and they may attack people. But since we were in the car, we were safe, we were watching them on the way. And we could see the mountain goats and something called mountain lions also we saw, but we didn't take the photograph of that. This is a mountain goat which we saw there when we were on the scenic driveway towards the Rapid City, because we were going from Custard Park to the Rapid City so as to catch the flight the next day morning. So on the way we enjoyed all this and then we reached safely, driving all the way to Rapid City in the evening, where we relaxed overnight, and then early morning we got a flight and then we came back to Maryland. It was a very memorable trip we had, and I am happy to share with you the wonderful geological feature Badlands, which is very famous in South Dakota. I hope you all enjoyed our travel video and thank you for watching.